do much for you, really. It makes you preposterous, not desirable. And the sprouting pubic hairs were our secret, strictly between us and our Y-fronts. And it would be years before a member of the opposite sex could verify that they were where they should be. Girls, on the other hand, quite clearly had breasts. And to accompany them, a new way of walking. Arms folded over the chest, a posture which simultaneously disguised and drew attention to what had just happened. And then there was makeup and perfume, invariably cheap and inexpertly, sometimes even comically applied, but still quite a terrifying sign that things had progressed without us, beyond us, behind our backs. I started going out with one of them. No, that's not right, because I had absolutely no input into the decision-making process, and I can't say that she started going out with me either. It's that phrase, going out with, that's the problem, because it suggests some sort of parity and equality. What happened was that David Ashworth's sister Alison peeled off from the female pack that gathered every night by the bench and adopted me, tucked me under her arm, and led me away from the swing boat. I can't remember now how she did this. I don't think I was even aware of it at the time, because halfway through our first kiss, my first kiss, I can recall feeling utterly bewildered, totally unable to explain how Alison Ashworth and I had become so intimate. I wasn't even sure how I'd ended up on her side of the park, away from her brother and Mark Godfrey and the rest, nor how we had separated from her crowd, nor why she tipped her face towards me so that I knew I was supposed to put my mouth on hers. The whole episode defies any rational explanation, but all these things happened. And they happened again, most of them, the following evening, and the evening after that. What did I think I was doing? What did she think she was doing? When I want to kiss people in that way now, with mouths and tongues and all that, it's because I want other things too. Sex, Friday nights at the cinema, company and conversation, fused networks of family and friends, lemsips brought to me in bed when I'm ill, a new pair of ears for my records and CDs, maybe a little boy called Jack and a little girl called Holly or Maisie. I haven't decided yet. But I didn't want any of those things from Alison Ashworth. Not children, because we were children, and not Friday nights at the pictures, because we went Saturday mornings, and not lemsips, because my mum did that. Not even sex, especially not sex. Please God, not sex, the filthiest and most terrifying invention of the early 70s. So what was the significance of the snog? The truth is that there was no significance. We were just lost in the dark. One part imitation, people I'd seen kissing by 1972, James Bond, Simon Templar, Napoleon Solo, Barbara Windsor and Sid James, or maybe Jim Dale, Elsie Tanner, Omar Sharif and Julie Christie, Elvis, and lots of black and white people my mum wanted to watch, although they never waggled their heads from side to side. To one part hormonal slavery, to one part peer group pressure. Kevin Bannister and Elizabeth Barnes had been at it for a couple of weeks. To one part blind panic. There was no consciousness, no desire, and no pleasure beyond an unfamiliar and moderately pleasant warmth in the gut. We were little animals, which is not to imply that by the end of the week we were tearing our tank tops off, just that, metaphorically speaking, we had begun to sniff each other's bottoms, and we did not find the odour entirely repellent. But listen, Laura. On the fourth night of our relationship, I turned up in the park and Alison was sitting on the bench with her arm around Kevin Bannister, with Elizabeth Barnes nowhere in sight. Nobody, not Alison or Kevin or me, or the sexually uninitiated retards hanging off the end of the swing boat, said anything at all. I stung, and I blushed, and I suddenly forgot how to walk without being aware of every single part of my body.